10 years ago, we were vending at various conventions, big ones, small ones, regional ones, and we thought that, you know, these are really cool, these are fun, but there has to be a different way to run a convention. What if we could create something that would be a little bit less of an expo and more of just a big party?
TempleCon has a really nice crowd. Wonderful, courteous, friendly people. One of the things about TempleCon is that they come year after year after year after year to see their TempleCon friends that they don't get to see everywhere else.
The fans came first, and the companies would be there because of the fans. We thought that it was kind of odd that very few conventions outside of very small cons worked like that. You know, what if we did something that actually flowed the opposite direction? So that's what TempleCon, you know, started as. That's what we envisioned.
In 2008, that was the first year we started seeing costumes at the convention. So I think we sort of, you know, put it out there for people to, you know, go ahead, dress up, come in costume. We would love to see what you do. And there were a few brave souls who did.
The worst thing for any creative project is stagnation. Whether it be an event, whether it be a production, whether it be a film, anything. Stagnation will always be what does you in. So one thing with TempleCon is we're always challenging ourselves. And this creates a lot of stress. I mean, it's, I'm always challenging myself. Like every year I approach TempleCon with a whole new challenge that I've never really taken on before just to see if I can do it. And sometimes that works for good, sometimes that works for ill, but that's why TempleCon is the way it is. We're always challenging ourselves, we're always pushing ourselves. One year we asked, you know, people were telling us, they were saying, this con is so amazing, we had so much fun playing at this convention. This is the best thing we've ever done. And you know, we came back to that, we answered that by going, well, what will make it better?
What would you like to see?
What do you want to see?
And somebody flippantly posted on the forums, dancing girls. And I said, I can do that. Because I know a lot of performers.
Come the weekend of the convention, people realized that, no, really, the suggestion for dancing girls was answered. And you're getting a full show, stage show, in the room that you're playing the games in. You know, it was pretty cool.
With dancers and
circus
performers.
performers and all kinds of different stuff. It was really awesome. And they learned at that point to be very careful with what you asked. Very careful what you asked, TempleCon. arcade games are one of those things. They've always been really close to me as a, as a person. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time in an arcade. It wasn't something that existed at TempleCon for years. I've always had a couple of arcade games. I've been collecting for about 9 years. But it just wasn't something that kind of mixed with the event. We had a limited amount of space, and I never really thought to bring that in. But you know what? I'm going to bring a couple of Neo Geos to the convention and run some tournament. And it went over incredibly well.
We see a vast array of costumes and people doing really creative things at TempleCon. And I hope to continue to expand on that foundation and that experience. People who make amazing props, people who do incredible performances. And then what has also come out of that is then a lot of our panels and programming and workshops are now emphasizing those creative things as well.
So 2011 was a big transition year for TempleCon. I think every big event, has these years where the whole event dramatically changes. On the back end of things, 2011 was the first year that we had the store open. It was very different for us. We realized that TempleCon had now turned from a local convention into something that was now generating attendance from more people outside the area than not. So TempleCon was 2011 was a huge transition year for us. And what we didn't expect was that year we've never seen an attendance jump like that before. We more than doubled attendance just on the first day of the convention. "2011 turned out to be one of our best conventions. 2011 turned out to be one of the conventions that defines what TempleCon is today by the end of the weekend. Where we now knew that the only way to make this work was to get an army of people behind us to help us make TempleCon be what it needs to be. And we didn't know if that was possible. Sometimes I still have my doubts. But every year that army comes, that army shows up and makes TempleCon amazing. So that's how it's done. TempleCon is meant to be an experience that draws in so many elements of life that are fun. TempleCon is fun in all ways, not just gaming. Gaming's fun, but there's so much other fun that you can have in life, along with gaming. And that's what TempleCon is all about.
In TempleCon 2009, I began adding performance work into TempleCon, getting dancers and circus artists and all of that. And so 2010, when we moved to the Crowne Plaza, we decided to have bands for the first time, decided to add the fashion show and costume contest. It's part of that party atmosphere. It's effectively like many parties that actually happen to be educational.
Yeah.
And this is what I find really fascinating about it, because it's gotten into getting people to understand that they can have a wonderful time and party it up and all of that, and at the same time learn things, broaden their palettes, expand their understanding of things.
Arcade culture is all about the kind of community we're trying to foster. It's all about this head-to-head communication that you get when you're playing somebody in a competitive game. That doesn't exist when you play online. It doesn't exist in any other way. The only way to get that from video gaming really is from that arcade experience.
TempleCon is not just about gamers, it's about people who game. People who enjoy games, yes, but who have well-rounded personalities and like other things. It was really important for us to beat the stereotype of what a gamer is and make the convention a place where people with a lot of diverse interests were welcome. People from a lot of different backgrounds could come and have a really good time.
One of the tenets of TempleCon effectively has always been that if you treat, at least in my eyes, if you treat people like they're responsible adults, they'll be responsible adults. You know, TempleCon has always been, we've always lived by that concept where, you know, let people have fun, let people have a beer, let people bring it through the con, let people enjoy themselves in all areas without feeling like they're not allowed to do something. You know, for a lot of people, this is their only place to cut loose and really enjoy themselves for the course of 4 days.
Through my eyes, staring to me, I bear my heart.
we had no idea that TempleCon was going to go in the directions that it did. We had no idea that it was going to kind of mutate into the creature that it is now. It's very different from what we expected, and we've kind of let the fans direct its growth in many ways.